What's up, guys? This is Zach from Flash Out Media, and I'm with Harley. And we're here to break a couple things down, a couple announcements, and also give you a preview of what's coming this weekend. Before we get started, all we ask is that you like, subscribe, comment. Harley, you got anything for the viewers before we start?
Nah, not really, man. It's good to be back. We took a few days off. Didn't have much going on last weekend, and but yeah, it's good to be back. We're gonna fill you guys in on what's going on this weekend, give you a little brief preview, and recap some things that happened earlier in the week. But if I start choking up a little bit, my apologies. I'm a little under the weather. Nothing major, but a little under the weather. But I'm good. Other than that, we're gonna jump right into it, man.
So first thing we got last night was the debut of Ultimate Fighter, McGregor versus Chandler. They're bringing back some vets. They brought some prospects. That whole dynamic. What do you think about the vets versus prospects?
I think it's just from a fighting standpoint. I think it's interesting. I'm all in the second chances, and it's something different as well. Um, so yeah, I don't mind that dynamic. You get some two different perspectives. You got the vets that a lot of those vets probably think this is their last chance. They gotta make it or break it right here, and these vets they out to prove something, man. This is their shot to get into the big show. So you got kind of two different paths colliding. So I actually like that dynamic, man. I think it's pretty cool. What about you?
Yeah, man, I think it's pretty cool. It's just, we seen the first fight, Roosevelt Roberts. I think some of these fights are gonna be mismatches, man, and like going into
Yeah,
it, watching the fight get announced, and there was a couple other fights. I'm just like, damn, bro. Roosevelt got 8 fights in the UFC, and it's not like he lost them.
this guy got none. Yeah,
He's foreign. He was 4-4, in the UFC, and not too many people even get a chance to do that. And you're fighting a guy, who had a layoff and just jumped up a weight class, and still hasn't even cut his teeth in the UFC. So, we've seen a first round knockout, and the way they matching these guys up, it's their number one seed versus their number four seed and whatnot.
yeah. I don't like that, by the way.
I think some of these fights are just set up to get good knockouts like we seen last night. But, once we get into semifinals and stuff like that, I think we're going to see a lot better fights and, not fights that last 30 seconds.
Yeah. Um, just to touch on the show a little more too. I was taking some buddies. I watched it live and stuff, and I I mean this ain't a big deal, but I rather like actually pick the fight. If that makes sense. Instead of like ranking 1 to 4. I rather like kind of the strategy part of things. Like picking the fights you really want and stuff. And also, this is kind of like I'm kind of going in circles here, but I want to say this too. I'm not here to shit on the guy that lost, because it takes balls to get in the cage, and obviously they see something in him to bring him on the Ultimate Fighter. But like just from the little clips of the show that like lead up to the fight, I had a feeling that Taylor's guy was gonna like clean this guy's clock because he seemed like he was just a one trick pony. You know what I'm saying? Um, in my eyes, just from a little bit I saw from him. Um, so like you said, I hope that there's not too many mismatches because in my head I really thought that like just from seeing it on surface, I really had a feeling that Chandler's fighter, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Roosevelt
One last
Roberts.
time. Yeah, Roosevelt Roberts. I had a feeling that he was just gonna like really do what he had to do with him and get it done pretty easy from a skill standpoint, and like you mentioned already, from the from already having 8 fights in the UFC too. That's a massive advantage, man. And the guy he fought, I mean, yeah, he fought for an LFA title, which is pretty big. But like you said, coming off a 2 year layoff, hadn't even really sniffed the UFC yet, and really, to me, only had really looked like he only had grappling in his back pocket. So I hope there's not too many mismatches. Um, Always gonna watch the Ultimate Fighter no matter what, but hopefully it kind of goes up from here.
Yeah, so the next matchup. I feel like is going to be very, very similar. We have Timur Valiev. This guy was actually 2-1 in the UFC. Um, he lost to Jack Shore by decision. His other two wins, Ronnie Barcelos and Martin Day. You know, he's fighting Trevor Wells, and to give you context on Trevor Wells, he is 8-3. His last fight was a split decision over an 8-6 record. So, I look for these vets to really beat these prospects. And there's a couple prospects on there that, they're gonna give these guys a couple good fights, but just looking on it paper, man, I think the vets are really gonna take this one.
Do you let me ask you a wider question about this. Do you think just from looking at, I mean, nobody knows for sure, but just from looking at it on paper, the show, the format of the show, and everything of that nature. Do you think this season was formed for the vets to thrive purposely, or do you think it just kind of happened that way?
No, I think like, I feel like they were supposed to have some vets and some prospects rather than it just be vets versus prospects, but Chandler kind of just said, fuck it, give me the vets. And that just became the dynamic of the show. But I don't think they actually planned it to be like that. They do have some prospects on there. You got your they got one of Connor's guys. He's 5-0.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I mean, they do have like three or four that are really good. They got Carlos Vera. He's from New Orleans and he's very good as well. So they do have good matchups. It's just early, like the first episode and this next episode, you're gonna see some very quick fights.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I wish they'd actually like this is like nitpicking, like, but there's another reason why I wish they'd actually let you pick teams or let the coaches actually pick teams instead of saying,
Right.
hey, if you go with the 155 vets, you get the 155 newbies and vice versa. You know, I'd rather them actually be able to pick the teams in the matchup to kind of even out the playing field of them. You
Yeah,
know,
I think they're really just trying to bring the Ultimate Fighter back, man. I think in the past, bringing it back, I don't think they quite got the results that they wanted, viewer wise. Now you got McGregor on there, you got, prospects and you got vets. So I think they're just trying to change some things up to get people interested in it.
yeah. And also, like, I'm gonna watch it regardless. It could be the most boring season of the show. Because I'm just like me and you were both in the fight business, number one, but we're also legitimate fight fans as well at heart. So anytime there's a fight, I'm gonna watch it. But with that being said, I mean, look, it's about the fighting as well. But if you're trying to get like new fans and the viewers up on a show like this, there's got to be more like drama. Like, man, you remember like the Rampage and Rashad season, the Tito and Ken season, you know,
Well, I think we're
seasons
gonna
like
get it,
that.
bro. Especially with
This
Conor
is
McGregor. We saw a little quick preview of them going at it at the beginning. I think we're gonna see a lot more of that. It's just,
yeah,
first episode, I think a lot of people were expected more of what was going on in the beginning. So, from a pure
yeah,
fight perspective, we're looking for good matchups, but people on the outside, they're looking for, big drama show.
yeah. And the words of Triple G, big time myself. Shout out Triple G, man.
So last thing I'll touch up on the Ultimate Fighter, we did see a little bit of back and forth. Um, you know, who who you giving the scorecards to on the exchange they had Chandler or McGregor?
I think Chandler, man, to be honest, because look, Chandler didn't do nothing crazy. Chandler, McGregor was mostly talking that shit like he does, which is good to see because I think combat sports is better when McGregor, like the villain Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
it kind of adds a little spice to it. But but Chandler was cool, man. Chandler was just like, okay, hey, if you want to do it, we'll bang. You know what I'm saying? I think, I think, you know, all I got to say is Connor better come correct because I think on paper, it, if if Connor if Connor like really like zones in and is in shape and comes correct, he should win. But you don't know like the version of Conor McGregor is going to be. So I think long story short, I think Chandler's focused. He's hungry. He's
I'm
ready to go.
I'm talking
Huh?
about I'm talking about the shit talking, bro. Who you think won the shit talking?
Oh, just the shit talking. I mean, Connor talk more shit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What you thought?
Yeah, I mean, when he said you're gonna do what you're told, I think that was a 10-8 round right there.
Yeah, you're gonna do what you're told. You little. He called. Didn't he? I forgot what he called him, but yeah, Connor's back. The little shit talking's back, so that's good to see.
All right, so we're gonna move on to this weekend's fight card. We got Amir Albazi taking on Kai France. Big implications on 125 division right here. Not sure if winner gets a title shot, but winner does take a step in the right direction. And a growing 125 division. We're gonna start off with the main event. We got Kai France taking on Amir Albazi. You know, just looking at it on paper, this isn't our final predictions, but this is a very interesting fight. Albazi is a guy, they are trying to push. He is undefeated in the 125 division, 3-0. Fought some really good guys, and this is a big step up for him. Kai France, he is coming off, coming short off a title shot. Before that, had a good little 3-fight win streak. If I'm just picking a guy right now, I think Albazi is going to be a little too well rounded for him and able to get it to the ground like he needs to. What you think?
Yeah, man. Close fight. And either guy should win. Um, right now, I probably lean towards Kai just because he has like a chance. You know, he fought for the title. You know, Amir is kind of coming up, but man, if Amir gets to the ground, I love his chances. If Kai can give it on the feet, um, it'll benefit him. I'm probably leaning towards Kai right now, but it's definitely not locked in yet for me. Um, Good fight though. Looking forward to that fight.
No doubt. All right, we got co-main event action. Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres taking on Daniel Pineda. Two vets, man, and two completely different styles. Pineda is a bully. Bruce Leroy will pick you apart from the outside, and got very good kicks and a very underrated ground game. Pineda underrated ground game as well. Um, Very, very close fight, but I have to go with, Bruce Leroy on this one. I think, when Pineda can be a bully or a guy tries to start off fast with him, he tends to do good, but I think Alex is too much of a vet for that, and we'll probably get a decision on this one.
So wait, you going with Bruce Leroy right now, or
Yes, sir. Alex Caceres, aka Bruce Leroy.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Edit that out. Um, Edit that out. But yeah, if I had to pick a guy, I would go with Bruce Leroy too. I think he is a more technical guy. At least on the feet. You know, and I think he's been around long enough to be able to handle that pressure and offset that pressure. You know, with his rhythm striking. So I like Bruce Leroy in this one so far. But another one I look into it. But I like Bruce Leroy. I think, like I said, he's got enough fights on his belt to be able to offset that pressure and be able to throw down that pressure with those rangy strikes and keep his opponent at bay. So I like Bruce Leroy in this one.
All right, next we got Jim Miller taking on Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon really got his name out there after, losing a fight that he probably should have won to Patty Pimlet. And got Bobby Green, was looking good against Bobby Green, and then got, headbutted and no contest. And then we got Jim Miller who, took a risk taking on Alex Hernandez, and Hernandez being a young gun kind of, did what he should have to him. But before that, Jim Miller was on a good little streak. Jim Miller's always a tough guy to pick against because his ground game is very good and his stand up, is still there and he still got pop to
He's
his
just well
punches.
rounded. Yeah.
Jared Gordon I feel like this is the best Jared Gordon we're getting right now. Things didn't go his way his last fight, but he still was looking good. Jim Miller's up there in age. I want to say he's 39 or 40 years old. And I was picking Jim Miller a lot in the past, and I think, age is just catching up to him, and I think, Gordon ultimately gets probably a decision victory on this one.
Nah, I gotta go with my boy Jim Miller, man. Jim Miller. Uh, I excuse me. I do see what you're saying about Jared Gordon, though. He is getting better, you know. Um, we all know he should have got the decision against Patty. And he had a no contest against Bobby Green. But I just think Jim Miller, yeah, even though Jim is getting up there in age and he is past his prime, he's just a vet. He's seen it all. He's very well rounded, like you mentioned already. If I had to pick a guy, I'm going with Jim Miller, man.
That's your heart picking or your brain, bro?
Both. I'm serious.
No doubt.
Uh, I like Jim. I really do like Jim.
Yeah, I fuck with Jim too, but man, I don't know. All right,
You know, I'm too excited.
we got Tim Elliott taking on Victor Altamirano. Man, honestly, I ain't even gonna lie. No, with all due respect, I feel like this is a mismatch. Tim Elliott is a dog. The odds makers have
Mhm.
that as an even fight. I disagree with that. I know Tim Elliott is going through some things. Shout out to Lil Boosie, but he's still Tim Elliott that won the Ultimate Fighter where they had top 16 guys ranked, you know, beat a lot of good guys, fought for the title. And you got Victor Altamirano. I know he's 2-0 or maybe 3-0 in the UFC or 2-1 in the UFC, but man, this is gonna be a fight where there's levels to
Yeah,
this.
I agree. And look, hey, it's a good step up for Victor. If he wins this fight, man, you know, we gonna see what Victor's about in this fight. Two talented fighters, but I agree. If I had to pick one guy right now, I'm going with him. I'm going with him. But
Oh.
looking forward to this one.
All right, we got Karine Silva. Man, I think the UFC is really trying to push her. We've been seeing her name a lot. She's taking on Ketlin Souza. Not the most familiar with Ketlin Souza. I'm looking at her record right now. This is her first fight in the UFC. And Karine Silva, she is, she won her UFC debut off and then came off the contender series. She only fought she was supposed to fight in April. That got scratched, so now she's back in action. I feel like look for Karine Silva to kind of dominate this fight, and
Yeah,
you know, I think the UFC is really going to try to push her.
yeah. Especially her fighting a girl, a fighter coming and making a UFC debut. Like you said, we've been hearing and seeing a lot about Silva lately. I like Silva in this fight. Possibly even get a finish. I'm like you. I don't know very much about her opponent either, but just looking at it on paper, I'd have to go with Kareem Silva.
All right, moving up the card, we have Jamie Malarkey. He's taking on Muhammad John Naimov. Naimov is taking this fight on super short notice. The guy Malarkey was supposed to fight, Guram. I think he got injured, and they just made this fight maybe a day or two ago. Jamie Malarkey put up a good last 2, 3 fights. Beat Michael Johnson, beat Prado, and looked very good against Prado. Stand up looked very great. And the guy is fighting 8-2. Don't know much about him. I'm looking at his record. Lost to a 4-0 guy, lost to 7-1 guy, and his best victory is over a 10-3 guy. Other than that, it's just fights to get you. It's a lot of losing records on his resume. So I mean, without knowing much about it, I'd say Malarkey probably takes this one pretty easily.
Yeah, especially in the stand-up department. I like Jamie, at least on paper.
All right, in another fight, we have Zaleski taking on Akbor Nurmagomedov. Zaleski has had a lot of fights in the UFC, but hasn't fought in the recent. I think he hasn't fought in a year. Yeah, hasn't fought in a year, but has beat very good guys. He's beat Benoit Saint Denis, gave him I think his first loss. Beat Curtis Melinder, Sean Strickland, Max Griffin, Lyman Good. And his losses are to guys like Muslim Salikov, Jilang Lee, and those aren't bad guys to lose to. Hasn't fought in a year though. He is 36, and Nurmagomedov, he fought in the PFL. UFC signed him. 2-1 in the UFC so far. Wins over Jared Gooden, and won his last fight by decision. If I had to go with a guy though, I'd probably pick Zalecki, even though he's been out for a little while. I think he's just going to be a little more better standing up, and his ground game might be a little bit too much to just hold down.
Yeah. Uh, Give me the man over in there for my paper. You know, you got a guy.
You don't fall in the trap by picking the name, bro.
No, no, you got a guy that's fought a year. But I agree. I'm gonna have to look at this one more. Just like we're just glancing at the only stuff on paper. So in
Right.
the prediction, give me the Mega Man. Man.
All right. Next fight, we have John Castaneda taking on Muin Gafarov. Castaneda did come up short against Daniel Santos, but before that, beat Miles John, beat Eddie Wineland, and went the distance with a guy like Nathaniel Wood. He is a contender series vet, very good striking, well-rounded guy. And we do have Gafarov. He does have some hype behind him, coming off the LFA. And then he was in the contender series and lost by split decision. A lot of guys are big on him, but I gotta go Castaneda on this one. I think Daniel Santos was just really, really good, so I'm not putting too much into that loss.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think he's shown some really good things in the past. I think he's got a chance to really make something of himself. Um, like you said, really good striking. Um, yeah, I like Castaneda. I really do. Looking forward to seeing.
All right, we got Andre Arlovsky taking on Dontel Mays. Arlovsky was on like a 4 or 5 win streak, not fighting the best comp. They give him Delima. Delima kind of, cleans him up in the first round. We have Dontel Mays coming off not the most exciting performance against Sakai. He's coming off a loss as well. This is another one where kind of like Jim Miller, I think Arlovsky's days are way ahead of him. He's 44 years old. Dontel Mays is a big athletic guy who's gonna come bring it, and I think Mays probably finishes him. Do you think on this fight?
Um, it's I'm probably leaning towards Dontel Mays too,
Yeah,
but something's telling me, man, don't sleep on Andre. I know, trust me, his best days are definitely past him, but I think he could have some success on the feet with Dontel. If I think if he can stuff the takedown, he can win. But I think I see Dontel taking him down, man. What you see in this fight right now?
I think Dontel's way to win is standing up, and Arlovsky got to just hold him against the cage in an Arlovsky-esque fight.
So you got to flip.
Yeah,
Give me Dontel Mays, but I'm gonna look into this one more. Give me Dontel Mays.
no doubt. All right. Next up, we were just talking about him. Daniel Santos taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. Both guys, we're familiar with. Daniel Santos is a training partner of Charles Oliveira. And just like Oliveira, he comes forward the whole time. A lot of pressure. Very good gas tank. He's coming off a impressive win over John Castaneda. Before that, took a very short notice fight against Julio Arce and didn't look too bad in that one. Okay. We got Johnny Munoz Jr. I want to say he's coming off a win. Yeah, coming off a win versus Ludovic Cholion. Decision victory before that got TKO'd by Tony Gravely. I gotta go with Daniel Santos on this one. Santos, I think, is a guy to keep your eyes on. Him bringing that shoot box style, just aggressiveness and not getting tired, I think is just gonna be way too much for Johnny Munoz Jr. So I gotta go with Santos on this one.
Yeah, I uh, like you said, even though he lost his last fight, we know where he comes from. We know he got good tools in his arsenal. And even though he lost his last fight, he put up a good showing. It wasn't like he got outclassed or anything like that. So yeah, I do like Santos, man. Give me Santos.
All right. We got Genu Frey taking on Elise Reed. Genu Frey coming off a two-fight losing streak. And we got Elise Reed, dropping her last fight against Loma Lookboonmee. I feel like Elise Reed is going to be probably better standing up and does have, decent takedown defense to keep it up. I think Junior Frey is going to have to try to get it to the ground. And I think Elise probably just being more well-rounded fighter, having better hands, probably gets the job done by decision on this one.
Yeah, I picked Jean Fighter win her last fight, and I think she did. Well, I think she's still talented, but you know, we've covered both of these fighters in the past, and and if I had to pick one, I do like Elise Reed. I agree. I think her striking will be a little better, but look, don't sleep on Genuine Fry. She's a veteran. Um, you know, and no offense, but it is women's MMA. You know how that goes, and I think Genuine Fry could definitely win. But if I had to pick one, I like Elise Reed. Close fight, but give me Elise Reed by decision.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, we're getting to the bottom of the card. We got Damon Blackshear taking on Juan Lacerda. Both guys, have been very, very active this year. Blackshear just fought in March against Fiery Basharat, and it really wasn't that bad of a fight. He just needed to push the pace a little bit more, and a guy like Farid is very, very good. Before that, I had a draw with Yusuf Salah, who's a very good guy as well. And did very good on the regional scene, only dropping losses to like guys like Pat Sabatini, Danny Sabatello. So real good guy. He's fighting on Juan Lacerda. Lacerda made his debut against Cody Stamen and put up a decent fight against him. That was his UFC debut. Very, very close fight. This can go either way, but I gotta go with Blackshear. I think Blackshear is gonna learn from his recent fight and just push the action a little bit more, have a better of an IQ, and if he can make those adjustments, he'll win. If not, I think Lacerda gets it. But if I have to pick right now, I'm going with Blackshear.
I agree. Early predictions give me Jamon Black here. I like doing that.
All right, the last fight that we're breaking down, but the first fight on the card, Maxime Grishin taking on Felipe Lins, a fight that I think was scheduled maybe two or three times last year. They're finally making it. Both guys are PFL vets. Grishin, he tried his luck at heavyweight, moving back down to 205, beat William Knight, coming off a win. But that was, a year ago. And then Felipe Lins just pieced up OSP. Um,
Yeah, man. Uh huh.
I think Felipe Lins, to win this
Go
fight, he
ahead.
does have to get it to the ground. It's a very different fight from OSP. And I got to go with Grisham to get this fight. He might even win by TKO, but both guys are heavy hitters. I think Maxime is just a little more cleaner on the stand up.
Yeah, man. Give it Felipe Lin. You know, I know he beat an OSP that's out of his prime, but you know he had some hype behind him. Don't get me wrong. This is definitely gonna be a stiffer test. But for now, give Felipe Lin, and I'll check into it later. Again, Felipe Lin.
So, we broke down the whole fight card. Is this a fight card that you think is going to be, slept on and have some bangers on there, or you think it's just one that, all right, just one they put on the schedule to, keep the
Yeah,
fight?
I think they could have some bangers on there, but it's not like, oh man, from top to, you know, um. But you look at the last fight night card that we broke down, man. A lot of people, including myself, was kind of eerie about that card. You know, I really went into it, man. Turned on the tape, and it was some pretty good fights. So, am I jumping out of my wheelchair over this card? No, but I think they got some potential, some good potential on this card.
We always say like who's gonna be the closest to a title if, out of the winners. And, there's really only one clear cut guy, and that's Amir Albazi. We just had Kai Kai France fight for the title, so a win won't really do him any justice. But do you see Albazi getting a title shot if he does win this Saturday?
Yeah, if he don't get a title shot after a win, I say one more, he'll definitely get a title shot. So either a win will get him a title shot, or a win and one more win will get him one. He's very close to one.
No doubt. And 125 needs some new contenders. We have Pantoja taking on Moreno coming up very soon. And Figueiredo's talking about moving up to 35. So there's no real clear cut, contenders. We got guys like Brandon Royval, and we got guys like Albazi. So I think if Albazi can put on a very, very solid performance, he might very well get that title shot, just depending on how exciting it is.
Yeah, yeah. If not after this fight, he's very close. Either
All
this
right.
fight or one more.
So, that was UFC card. We do have two boxing events. And we have Clarissa Shields fighting on the zone. She is fighting Saturday as well. And her opponent, I've never really heard of her, Marcela Cornejo. I don't know if I even pronounced that right, but she's 16-5. I think her last win, let me double check this, but her last win was against a girl 0-1. And now she's fighting Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields'
Yeah.
last win was against Savannah Marshall, and probably one of the bigger names that she's fought in her career. Are you gonna be tuning in the fight into the fight to see Clarissa Shields, possibly in this girl's career?
Nah, I catch the highlights, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, to be honest, like, I mean, look, and we just came on here giving the women fights some credit the other day. Really, we gave some credit. Hey, man, some good fights. Come on, man. How in the hell you give a girl
But who do
who
you give
just beat
her?
a
Who do you give her at this point, man? I think Savannah Marshall was the only girl, even close, and that was a good fight too as well. But who is there for her? I think that's why she's crossing over to
oh man,
MMA.
just find somebody that ain't just beat a one girl. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I think she's
make
just
it look.
beat everybody that, in a very shallow division in the women's boxing division. I think she's beat everybody. I think the only thing that's interesting is a rematch with Savannah Marshall. I mean, who else is there in
Do
that
you
weight?
think she? Do you think she can move up or down in weight and try to get a bigger name as well? Like,
To get
what do
bigger
you think?
names, you would have to move down, but it's not like she's got weight to lose. I mean, she's very defined, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I don't know.
and then I get why she's going MMA, but MMA is not her thing.
Yeah, MMA it's just like if, some of these girls would try boxing, it's something you got to do. You got to master your craft. Man, it's just gonna be hard for her to cross over to MMA and get these wins over
Yeah,
girls who've been doing it their whole life. I think she can get away with it with fighting girls who ain't been taking it that serious. But in the boxing world, man, she's just so ahead of anybody even near her weight class. There's only one girl that really challenged her. I mean, she got the job done against her.
yeah, it ain't even close.
It
Um.
was a good fight when they fought, and I would
Oh
love
yeah,
to rematch. But you know, other than that, I don't know. She's just in a tough spot, man. And she's so talented. I wish they had more challengers for her.
yeah,
So
yeah, man. It's tough. It's tough.
we had that fight, the UFC fight. The next one we have is, Harley's favorite fighter, Adrian Broner, coming back.
Jesus Christ.
He's taking on
Jesus
Bill
Christ.
Hutchinson. Me personally, I love Adrian Broner. I love what he brings to boxing. He's a character.
Jesus Christ.
I
Yeah,
wish
he's
he
a
would take
character.
I wish he would take, boxing a lot serious. I think it's too late to take it serious. And, I think he's just a guy who's gonna make some money boxing off of his name right now. One thing you could say, hate or love about Adrian Broner, he's always fought the best that was out there, no matter what. He didn't really care about taking the L, and that's one thing I wish a lot of boxers would take. What you got to say, Harley?
Yeah, he fought some good opposition, but man, the guy's a joke. He got skill. He's just a clown, man.
For sure, for sure. He talks a lot of shit. He does a lot of crazy stuff outside. But if you would take this serious, man, got some serious talent. Let me
Do it for the hood, man. Do it for the hood, man. Like, come on, man.
let me see how old he is, man.
He's a Mayweather
33.
wannabe.
He's 33, man. He's 33. Um, He's fighting a guy in Bill Hutchinson, which I've seen fight in the local scene out here. So that should tell you like right there, who's supposed to win. They do have Rigondeaux
Yeah,
on the undercard. I don't, man, how old is Rigondeaux?
probably in the 40s. The boys, oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm about to see. Gilberto Rigondeaux. 42. So you got Rigondeaux
40,
and you got Adrian Broner. Is this a fight card you tuning into?
yeah, 2 words. You ready? Hell no.
Nah. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna catch the highlights.
I'm gonna kiss the highlights if you're gonna kiss the card.
Yeah. So, we got UFC Fight Night, Amir Albazi taking on Kai France. We got Clarissa Shields. We got Adrian Broner coming back. We got Rigondeaux on the undercard. Not the biggest weekend for fights, but I'm telling you, this is building up to something because come July, it's gonna get crazy.
Uh, hey, July is real, baby. Buckley, you see, but look, I'm gonna call my wheelchair guy when I get off the podcast, and I'm gonna ask him, look, can you come tighten my seatbelt up by July 1st? So I can be strapped in. I might even get to put me a helmet on, man. 'Cause come July, man, it's gonna be real, bro. It's gonna be real.
No doubt, no doubt. Before we head out, man, Harley, you got anything?
Uh, no, thank you guys for tuning in. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Flash Out Media. Hope Adrian Broner takes an L. We'll lock in our final predictions on Friday. Correct, Jack? Friday?
Yeah, man. Come on, the can man. You don't like the can man?
Nah, man.
All
And
right.
hey, before we go, Adrian should have lost his last fight as well.
All
So,
right, I'm out, man. I'm gonna end it right now.
yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Flash Out Media. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Flash Out Media. And until next time, have a good one.